Our job is to make sure they have everything they need at the tip of the spear, but they can't do that without you. What you're building here at Merritt Island is a core function of the arsenal of freedom. You see, the arsenal isn't just about door kickers or guys dropping precision bombs, although we like those guys very much. It's not just about intel analysts and mechanics wearing camouflage. They're all important to our nation, to be sure. But look at the thousands of square feet that make up this production site, where you produce the next generation of launch vehicles and spacecraft, like the New Shepard launch vehicle and the Blue Moon lander. I just had the privilege of also meeting with Administrator Isaacman over at NASA. And your work here, along with his, will help President Trump accomplish the national security policy objectives at record pace, including critical projects like Artemis. And you're exactly right. We're going to make space great again. That sign is our motto. Because all of you have dedicated your lives to precision, skill, and hard work in hard hats. Different kind of hats than the helmets soldiers wear, but the same kind of mission, all to deliver capabilities to the warfighter in the space domain made right here in America. You see, for far too long, under the previous administration, we had leaders who thought we could outsource our capabilities to other countries, or that we could live in a global environment where your skills don't matter anymore, or we could work at the glacial pace of just a few prime contractors and that was tolerated. A world with vendor-locked, over-budget, behind-schedule contracts. None of those things happened here, by the way. You guys are under budget and ahead of schedule. That's what today's warfighter needs. And under President Trump and his leadership, those days of yesteryear are over. Because we have to live in a realistic world where urgency matters. We live in a realistic world where American strength has to partner with American manufacturing. And if you don't have both, you don't have a free country. And you have to have world-class manufacturing. Let me tell you this. Take your cameras through this factory. And what I said to Mr. Bezos was this might be some of the most sophisticated manufacturing the world has ever seen that can only be done at scale in the United States of America. We will unleash our companies, unleash industry, unleash the competitive spirit that allows America to come out on top. When we compete, we win. When we innovate, we win. When we confront the status quo, we win. And I don't know if you know this, but we have a commander-in-chief who's pretty interested in winning. No more business as usual, which I know, Mr. Bezos, is music to your ears. You've never done business as usual. And at the War Department, business as usual is over. Our job is to unleash space pioneers, just like we are unleashing our warfighters. And President Trump, in service of that, has some core principles. First, we are putting America and Americans first. Our citizens and our workers first, setting the conditions for you to succeed, securing our people in our homeland and our hemisphere. It's long overdue. Second is peace through strength. At the War Department, we are the Strength Department. Our job is to be the hammer when necessary, but hopefully never have to use it. It's called deterrence. But if we must use it to fight, we will fight to win, overwhelmingly. And the third principle is common sense, which, as you all know, is not so common in Washington. But in the Trump administration, when you look at the problem we have as a nation, we have to build at scale and at speed, and that's vital. It's common sense, so we have to go faster and empowering our fastest runners. You will see those common sense principles applied at the War Department in three simple ways. One, we're reviving the warrior ethos. We're eliminating the distractions and the debris. No more DEI No more dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship or social justice or political correctness. We're done with all of that. We're just unleashing the warfighter to be lethal, trained, disciplined, accountable, and ready. And when you allow them to do that, they're really good at their job, as an indicted criminal in Venezuela found out about a month ago. We are allowing commanders to be commanders again, leaders to be leaders. And what they say back to us is the most affirming words we could ever hear. Those commanders are saying, we've never felt this supported before, ever in our time in command. Under President Trump and under the War Department, you're allowing us to use the authorities to go out and do what we need to do, clearing out the debris. That's music to my ears. That's my job, to serve those who serve, allowing our warfighters to be even more capable. Second, we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're on the Arsenal of Freedom tour. That's why we're here in Florida. We're going across the country for a couple of months, talking to industry, large like this one, and small. We need all of them. And we need you to move fast, at scale, at cost, to outcompete our adversaries, to rebuild our arsenal of freedom. President Trump did it in his first term, and we're doing it again. As you may have heard, the One Big Beautiful Bill provided the War Department an historic down payment of $150 billion to supercharge President Trump's defense capabilities. He has announced the goal to spend $1.5 trillion for our national defense in 2027. That is a massive message to the rest of the world that American strength is not going anywhere anytime soon. We will dominate in every domain. That One Big Beautiful Bill also provided $25 billion for the Golden Dome for America, revolutionizing our homeland defense through cutting-edge space-based capabilities, which we're going to need. We're talking about a vigilant constellation of next-generation sensors and satellites that will see every threat from every corner of the globe, paired with a network of space-based interceptors ready to neutralize any ballistic missile, any hypersonic weapon, any drone, long before it threatens our homeland. The kind of protection President Trump has promised the American people and the War Department will deliver. That is how we establish total orbital supremacy. That is how we guarantee the safety and security of the American people. Space Force's General Gutlein has done a fantastic job so far leading the charge. He knows the path of what's expected for Golden Dome. I get briefed monthly on its progress. This is not something you see, President Reagan helped defeat the Soviets by casting a vision of SDI, of a dome. President Trump, given the companies we have in this country, like this one, can now make that vision a reality for the American people, a huge conundrum for our adversaries who are counting on a whole different dynamic. We will continue to work with our partners because we have to dominate the space domain. That means we'll ensure that we keep building rockets and engines and landers that you make here at scale and at speed. Third, we're reestablishing deterrence. So we're reviving the warrior ethos, rebuilding the military, and you have to reestablish deterrence if you've lost it. Whether it was the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan, a sin and a shame on our country, or what happened on October 7th with Hamas in Israel, or the war in Ukraine that never would have happened if President Trump was president. Radicals who shot at our ships and we didn't respond, or the invasion of our of tens of millions of illegals. The world saw an open invitation to challenge America under the previous administration. It didn't feel like America was prepared. Biden was asleep and Lloyd Austin was AWOL. So the first thing we did at the War Department was reestablish deterrence. It started on day one. We locked down the southern border. We've gone 8 months with 0 crossings at the southern border. Turns out we didn't need new authorities, we just needed a new president. Credit to Customs and Border Protection, our law enforcement partners, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and others who do a very difficult job every day. The War Department, was proud to stand beside them since day one. We also reestablished deterrence through our efforts with the Houthis, Operation Rough Rider. Now, from the beginning, some people thought, the Houthis? Why do we have to deal with the Houthis? Well, it's because the Biden administration allowed Islamists to shoot at our commercial and military ships, and we didn't respond. All the way back to the presidency of Thomas Jefferson, we've understood that free navigation of the seas is a core tenet of the United States of America. You don't shoot at American ships. Yet Joe Biden allowed those attacks to go on as if it was a new normal, a new status quo. Well, we responded, and after 50 days of relentless bombing, the Houthis cried uncle. They said, okay, we won't shoot at your ships anymore. They were dying, literally and figuratively, to make a deal. And American ships now in that region and all around the world sail freely. Look at Iran and what President Trump said about their nuclear capabilities. Iran will never have a nuclear bomb. They didn't want to pay attention or believe him. So 7 beautiful B-2s flew 37 hours and dropped 14 precision munitions on top of their nuclear facilities undetected, flawless, in the middle of the night, something only America, the United States of America, can do. Peace through strength, deterrence in action. We see the same thing with narco-terrorists in our own hemisphere. How long have leaders been talking about a war on drugs or taking drugs off our streets? Well, for a long time, it was simply a catch and release program, a law enforcement function that didn't work. But these narco-terrorists, designated terrorist organizations, targeted our communities, our kids, and our people in our country. They knew exactly what they were doing. So instead of catch and release, we let them know, if you're going to sail in your drugs toward our country in international waters, we will target your drug boats and we will sink them. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, there haven't been many boats sunk recently because we can't find any boats to sink. And I'll pause for a minor announcement. As work continues, as it should, don't stop for a speech. You see, no one wants to get in a narco boat anymore. And that's the whole point. And then on January 3rd, the whole world saw what our military is capable of at every echelon. When we brought the indicted nominal leader of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, from a fortified house in the most fortified location inside their biggest fort in their capital city in the middle of the night without them knowing we were there until 3 minutes before. The most sophisticated single raid in the history of the planet. No other president before President Trump would have had the guts to make that call. And no other military in the world has the ability to do it. I remember when Nicolas Maduro mocked us and said, "I'm right here, come get me." Well, he found out. All of this brings me back to why I'm here looking you in the eye on this cold Florida afternoon. You are the men and women who pour your lives and careers into building these incredible launch systems that we need, that give us that advantage. Whether it's in Iran, whether it's in Venezuela, whether it's halfway around the world, that's the advantage our warfighters need. And at the War Department, our job is to make sure you can do your job as efficiently and decisively as possible. Now, you can imagine, that's a difficult thing for us. We're a giant headquarters, the largest headquarters in the world, and headquarters exist to move paper. The place where meetings exist to talk about other meetings. That's what the Pentagon can look like from the inside and the outside. Well, President Trump has directed us to overturn the way we are doing business. And that means not waiting years or spending tens of billions of dollars for some perfect solution 15 years in the future with a product that never reaches the hands of a warfighter. We tell our people as I know you tell your people, do everything you can with the precious moments that we have. Rip out the bureaucracy, streamline the process, then get the products into the hands of our warfighters. We are changing the game, and urgency is our currency. Incentivizing speed, incentivizing efficiency, incentivizing competition. And we're not just talking about it, we're funding it in real time. The One Big Beautiful Bill invested $16 billion directly into our defense industrial base, expediting innovation to the warfighter, sending a clear demand signal to our best American innovators, like this one right in front of us. And like he would expect from all of you, we expect back to defense and the industries in defense, no more excuses, no more barriers to entry, no more monopolies. Guaranteeing that companies like Blue Origin, in factories just like this one, can compete. And yes, that means speaking some tough truths, as the President did when he signed an executive order on January 7th, ordering big defense contractors to be held to the highest of standards. No more egregious executive bonuses, no more stock buybacks, no more ridiculous CEO salaries when you can't even deliver weapons on time for the warfighter. The companies we invest in need to prioritize the warfighter. We need to put the warfighters first, just as you put your products every day first. And that's why it's an honor to look out at this great audience here of Americans who appreciate the spirit of that executive order. You see, I don't mind people making lots and lots of money. Please make lots and lots of money. But if you're going to do so, deliver for the American people and the taxpayers the capabilities you said you would deliver. That is something you do here. And so I hope you make lots of money. I'm telling the guy who makes a lot of money to make a lot more money. We love that. I'm a capitalist. We all are. But we need to raise the urgency of the moment requires it. You sit in the Oval Office with President Trump, and I know you have, sir, you feel it. He gets what we're up against. He gets how important it is. He understands the capability of the American worker. That if we unleash the American worker and American industry, we will outcompete. We will out-innovate. But buildings like the Pentagon have held that back for decades. And with this Arsenal of Freedom tour, we say no more. We will unleash American space dominance. You see, it was President Trump also in 2019 who established the Space Force as the 6th military branch, and he established it for a reason. In warfare, we can't just command the skies and the seas or our hemisphere. We have to dominate the ultimate high ground. We've always known this. Any infantryman knows this. Anybody knows this. Whoever controls the high ground controls the fight. Space is the ultimate high ground. So we will chart the path. We will set the tone. We always have, and we will again. So in conjunction with our efforts from the Space Force, we will continue to ensure peace through strength with our partners who are critical. Companies like Blue Origin, companies like SpaceX, and others who are critical to ensuring that we dominate space. We welcome those partners, and we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you in these critical efforts. You see, we don't care. You care. But we don't care what company name is printed on the side of a rocket. You should care. I know you hope it says Blue Origin. We don't care what company name appears on, ladders on planes or what company name is painted on a satellite. We just want the best. And we don't care how many lobbyists or accountants you have. If you create the best, the fastest, on behalf of taxpayers and warfighters, you're going to win. And that's what President Trump's War Department expects. And I'm hopeful, and based on what I saw today, Blue Origin's going to do plenty of winning. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing for your company. That's a great thing for you. But most importantly, that's a great thing for our country. That's what we need. That's what my kids and grandkids need. They need men and women like you dedicated to your craft. That's what the trigger pullers need, the pilots need, the surface warfare officers need, the medics need. All those guys and gals wearing camouflage need you. They need Blue Origin. They need space dominance. That's our job at the War Department, is to allow you to run and run as fast as you can. And your leadership here knows, and the rest of the leadership across our defense industrial base need to know, this is not about Wall Street. It's not about dividends. It's not about stock buybacks. This is about warriors. And how quickly can we deliver them to them as quickly as possible, the most lethal capabilities. President Trump is deadly serious. He feels the urgency, and so do I. We must rebuild our arsenal of freedom, maintain supremacy over the space domain. We'll go fast, and we'll move fast every single day. And as I look out at all of you, cold, but heads nodding. I see heads nodding everywhere. We have the best workforce in the world, the best engineers, the best entrepreneurs, and the best innovators. This crowd right here on Merritt Island. And I want to express my appreciation for all of you. You have taken and ran with that demand signal. You know what time it is. Your leadership knows what time it is. And that's all we can ask for. And that we deliver that same message across the entire country. Go fast, take risks, and continue to build the best and build in America. The urgency of the moment requires this. So thank you for inviting us here. Thank you for grabbing onto the challenge that President Trump has given us. We are grateful for everything that you do. It's been an honor to meet a lot of you, by the way, who have kids or grandkids that serve. I got a chance to meet a bunch of you who are vets yourselves, who continue to serve. You wore the uniform, you're serving again, shoulder to shoulder with the best. And I'll just end by saying what President Trump said over the radio to the incredible Americans who went to downtown Caracas. He simply said, "Good luck and Godspeed." Now, I know that you guys don't need luck. You're good at what you do. But Godspeed, because we need the skills, we need the craftsmanship, we need the leadership that you're showing right here. Ultimately, you hand those tools to us, and it's our job to defend you and to defend this country. Because under President Trump, the golden age of American dominance is only just beginning. God bless you, and God bless our great republic. Thank you.